Star Wars The Bad Batch Episode 8 Reunion is the best episode to date, in my opinion, for two simple reasons. Number one, it looks and feels and is paced like a cinematic film the most in this show so far. It felt very grand and had some creative camera angles here and there. And number two, the danger is imminent, the stakes are much higher now, and also a big bonus number 3, by the way, there's an awesome reveal that made me audibly gasp. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After a Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. 2 weeks ago, I promised to start to link back to this Bad Batch checklist I came up with, because I started to see a lot of recurring patterns in this show. Last week's episode 7 checked 6 out of 7 of these boxes. This week only 2 really. The first one and the 7th one. I feel like and I predict that this show is starting to evolve. I feel like grand things are coming that won't necessarily fit into that category that let's say episode 2 through 7 are fitting in. Oh, we're on a mission, we'll go to this planet, deliver this to that person, shoot our way out of trouble and learn something along the way, and repeat. I feel like this show will get past that, will get more and more surprising, more and more dark. Who's loyal to who will become more blurry, and I don't know, I don't think my brilliant checklist will be that brilliant anymore in a few weeks. Before I go into all the spoilers, if you're new and one that can't get enough Disney Plus really, this is the only channel that's specifically and absolutely only Disney Plus thoughts and reviews. Episode per episode, we all watch together, you'll have an idea what to expect. Click that button and that bell if you want to follow along, thank you so much. So an extra warning, just to be sure, I'm going to talk spoilers for this one, because I want to talk freely about all that has happened. Still here? Great, because the first one's a big one. Okay, let's start with that ending. Cad Bane and Hunter facing off. First of all, I audibly gasped at Cad Bane stepping into this show. Does it shrink the universe? Could it have been any bounty hunter, just as was the case with Fennec Shand? Yes, absolutely, it's a fine line, but man, I'll take Cad Bane any day of the week. It's funny because of all the characters I thought we wouldn't see again, this was one I was dying to see return. I fantasize about a live-action Cad Bane for at least a year now. I think that the showdown between Hunter and Bane was a little out of nowhere though. It suits Cad Bane, but it felt a bit like the scene just breaks and begins something else. I totally get he was after Omega, but I guess it's because it's still a much-used cliche and the stare down took like 20 whole seconds. Still, I was in ecstasy about him even showing up and even taking a part in this story, so I was enjoying myself no matter what. So, this episode was about the group trying to collect parts and weapons to make sure that they would pay themselves out of debt when they returned to Sid, but unfortunately for them, the preparations weren't fast enough and the batch gets intercepted by Crosshair and his squad. Simple story, amazing execution. Going back to what I said about the two main reasons this episode is just so amazing, the cinematic feeling of it all. It truly elevates this, because these Lucasfilm animation episodes are mostly pretty straightforward and don't often try crazy things in terms of camera work and lighting and all that. Well, this episode was beautiful. The lighting was just so captivating, the night skies, Crosshair's ships landing, the ion cannon was beautiful to look at. And I noticed some experimentation with perspective here and there. Hunter getting dragged into the shuttle after he got shot. For a moment, we're with him in the helmet. We see one final shootout through the eyes of someone who is always ready in battle, but is now helpless and can't help his friends. This claustrophobic moment is effective in my opinion, and the creators could just have so easily picked a static shot from a distance to show the whole shootout just take place, but they decided to do it this way. Another really great piece of camera work is when that clone trooper calls for CT 508, do you copy? And then we see his companion lying on the ground, but we only know what's really going on when the camera turns just 90 degrees to reveal him lying down, revealing someone has taken care of them, but it's not the batch. What this episode establishes so well is the conflicted nature of the role of the Kaminoans. I mean, we've got this general who orders to just get rid of all these clones, including Omega. We've got the Kaminoans themselves who appear to have sent Cad Bane to make sure Omega is kept alive and safe, probably for further experimentation, I would imagine. It's exciting to see all these moving pieces and conflicts of interest. It wouldn't be a Bad Batch episode without a moment of reflection on what role these guys should play in the galaxy. There's this scene where Hunter suggests smuggling guns to Sid, and he says, "There's no republic for us to rely on anymore. We're presented with an opportunity here. We have to take it." But later on, Echo says, "We're soldiers. What other path is there?" Talking about joining forces to fight the Empire. So we see this group is constantly switching back and forth between just taking care of themselves in this chaotic world and trying to find a real cause. Overall, this episode is absolutely wonderful, with great camera work, really ambient lighting, a character I always wanted to see again in Cad Bane, a really great setup for lots of conflict of interest, intrigue on Kamino, and Crosshair still strong as a villain, so I'm satisfied. Can't wait for the 9th episode. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. If you're interested in thoughts on previous episodes, it's all in the description, or you can browse the channel page. Did you like this video? Then all it takes is to click that blue little hand down there. Thanks. My review of Luca will be up tomorrow. Very excited to see that in a bit. I'll be back next week with a new chapter and Loki and all that. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya!